So today we're up bright and early to shoot an episode with a well-renowned Norwegian golfer who had a stellar golf career at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock and has gone on to be a professional golfer. Today she's here with us to share her stories and her experiences. Stina Resen, welcome to the Pursuit podcast.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We are lucky to have you here. We've tried to do this for a long time, but with your golf schedule, it's not always easy for you to be here in Oslo. But you're here now.
That's correct. And with COVID also and everything, it's been a little bit difficult to plan this, but I'm here.
Yeah, it's good. We're looking forward to the insight into the college world and then the professional world. Because your journey has been, it's not that many that end up, going the professional route after college. If you look at the grand statistics, but you're one of them. And you used the college golf arena to really become a really good golfer and take it to the next level. But I think you've always had the plan of doing that. Is that right from the start? You went to the Olympic High School at NTG. What was the motivation from when you were starting out there?
Well, when I was young, I always had a dream to be able to play golf and kind of make a living of it. I've always had that dream. And then I went to NTG, like you said, and I was talented when I was young. So I chose golf quite early, and I had great success. But actually during my NTG years, it started to fall apart a little bit, maybe mentally. I remember end of my second year and beginning of my third year at the high school, I didn't play much. I was kind of deciding what road I should take. But then I just thought to myself that, okay, I want to give it a shot. And if college is not for me, then I can always go home. And I would regret if I didn't do it. So made a tough decision that I wanted to go to college, so I contacted you guys.
And that was back in the day. It's been a while. This was in 2012 that we started this process, and I remember that was also something to talk to coaches about. That hey, why didn't you play that much this year? Well, I've been. It's been because you were doing great, right? You represented Norway. You competed in big European tournaments, so those are all really good things. But then there's like a little question mark. What happened in that season? And then there's always some explanation. And in the end, you ended up playing Division 1 golf, so people could see past that. And also with you being upfront about, hey, golf is a mental game, and I play golf not to a very high standard, but of course it's mental. It's it must be 1,000 thoughts going through your mind when you step on the first tee in a tournament, or if you're missing that putt and you end up losing a shot with a bogey, stuff like this. But why did you then? It must have been. It's a courageous move to still push forward with college, because that is you're far away from family, friends, everything that's kind of safe to you.
Yeah, that's very true. I had a mother that was really good at skiing when she was young. And she actually got a scholarship to go to the States. And she didn't dare to. So, and I knew that. And I always thought that I kind of wanted to go see the world as well. I've been traveling a lot before this also. So I knew I liked to be on the road and see what's out there. So that wasn't really an issue.
Okay, so good. But then you had your parents obviously pushing that, hey, just give it a go and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they didn't push me to do anything, but I don't know. It's hard to say, but it's such a long time ago. But I just knew that I wanted to take a shot at the golf, and now you could FaceTime. I mean, if my mom was gonna go, she would have to write a letter in the mail.
Pretty much.
So it's
we're
quite
that
different
old.
as well.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's that has improved a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and also I think the choosing the right school and navigating that process has become easier with, you know, the virtual tours, the like the FaceTimes coaches and potential teammates just walking you around campus. We see that in recruiting quite a lot now. So it's all about getting the feel for how it is to be a student athlete at the university and see it with your own eyes. So that's probably also been improved. And also, you didn't end up visiting the schools that you had offers from.
I didn't. I remember taking this decision very quickly because I didn't have that much time. It was kind of a rushed process, actually. So no, I didn't visit, and I have found a school that was pretty well ranked. And then I just got so caught up in, okay, I want to go there, that I didn't really take too much time to plan everything, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, I remember this because you ended up starting in January. It's possible, opposite, to start in the either August or the January semester, and you started in the spring semester in January, and it was just an opportunity that came up, and they wanted to recruit you. It was, this was Lamar University in Beaumont, Texas, a beautiful place for golf, really. And it's hard to not jump on something like that when it comes. And yeah, it was a rush process, but sometimes that happens, I think. Where
yeah, of course.
It's sometimes hard to plan a recruiting process. It might be that, hey, tomorrow 2 great schools get back with us and have great interest. And maybe you have to make a decision on a school the day before some of those interests come. So it's really difficult to. There's never a right or wrong on the recruiting process. And if you're ready to be recruited, then the options can come quite quickly. So it just happens. So maybe in theory, in hindsight, yes, a visit and going to check out the schools. But in the end, it was more of a, hey, if you want to do this, we got to do it quick.
Yeah, I remember that. So I probably would have done it again, you know?
Yeah, exactly. If you look at that, but it's interesting because in sports like, say, the individual sports like golf, a lot of students end up going to visit, maybe take a week, and you can visit maybe up to 3 schools, get a feel for the coach, see the place, potential new teammates you'll have. I think it really helps, and if you have the chance to do it, then probably it's a good idea.
Yeah, it's highly recommended, I think.
Yeah. So, but in other team sports like soccer or those sports, it's very, very few people go over there. That
Really?
is, it's. I guess it's the role of the coach maybe plays a bigger part for individual sports like golf, that you have a good connection and meet with them. I mean, some coaches come here to Europe to recruit, and you can meet them that way. But no, there's always been something about individual sports more likely to go and check things out before making a decision. But in the end, it's because can you tell us a little bit about Beaumont, Texas, since when you came there?
Yeah, I didn't really know much about the city or town, maybe I could call it.
Yeah, probably a town.
Probably town, yeah.
Have you been in Beaumont, Texas?
I've been a lot around in Texas, and especially in Beaumont. And there are a lot, yep.
So I can't even remember. Maybe it was an hour from Houston.
Yeah.
Something
And
like that.
Houston is like the oil capital of...
I know Houston is big.
It is. It's. And I think a lot of actually Norwegians go over there to work because of the oil industry, and so I think that is a. I've never been to Houston, but it's a big area and beautiful climate. I mean, perfect for going to play 4 years of golf.
Well, yeah,
In theory,
definitely.
yes, for you, and for some it is, but for you it wasn't the right fit.
It wasn't, and mainly because I didn't get along with the coach that well. He put a lot of pressure on me. And like I said earlier, I had a little bit of a mental state. And I mean, I was trying to be as open as I could before I arrived. But then the American coaching style is a little bit different to the Norwegian one. Okay, if you just push, and then eventually you'll get better and yelled at, and you probably see it in movies and everything. But he was, well, I felt threatened. I didn't perform, and he just got mad. So I remember I was very scared, actually, over there. But then I got along. I had a lot of friends, especially teammates, and there was some Norwegian players over there, and some Norwegian soccer players. So my social life was good. But then whenever I went on the golf course, I mean, if the coach was on the putting green, I went to the driving range because I didn't.
You just wanted to avoid, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's where you have to be comfortable
Yeah.
on the course, and I think that's obviously not a good fit. But were you at this point talking to someone about the mental coach, or did you try to work on it with outsiders?
I did. I actually contacted a Norwegian mental coach, and she was more in the business world, and she wanted to dig into what was the root of the problem. So I just felt like whenever I talked to her, I just felt worse.
Really?
Yeah. So it wasn't really helping. And then I just decided that, oh my God, is this college? Then I don't want to do it. But then I had some help from you guys. And I knew another girl from my home club that had an offer at another school. I think she got some help from you as well. Anyways, and then that coach, a lady, they said she seemed very nice and that I should try to get in contact with them. And then the process just went from there. And
Another quick process, really.
it
Because
was,
we were
yeah.
speaking about, of course, you're not happy. We had a talk about this and trying to put out the plan for, okay, what are we going to do? I mean, the easiest thing there is to just pack up, go home, and I'm done with it. But you didn't do that. You were still, hey, there's still, college golf is still for me. I just need to find a new place,
Yeah.
new coach, fresh start.
Yeah, it's true.
And it was very it's important to try and find the right fit. That's what everybody does, of course, when they're trying to find their school. And some of the things it's really hard to know up front. I mean, it's very difficult to know that you and the coach were not compatible at all. That is one of the
No,
trickier
and
things.
I think that they had an assistant coach because they had the same coach for both the men and the women's team. So I had most contact with the assistant coach throughout the whole recruiting process and everything. And I had barely spoken to the head coach, and because he told me that he would travel with the ladies and he will travel with the men to tournaments, because sometimes you have tournaments at the same time and so on. So I got the impression that he was kind of going to be my coach, but in the end he didn't have a say in anything. So it was a bit of a hierarchy issue there as well. Yeah.
But it's then very important that the next decision you make is good. You went to the coach and you have to ask for the release. You can't just start speaking to any coach.
No.
You have to kind of resolve the situation at your school, talk to the coach and say, hey, I want to transfer, which is to move schools. And this was pretty much towards the end of your spring semester. And then I remember that you actually could transfer in the first 6 months or after the first semester, because you'd signed the scholarship papers, but you hadn't signed the national letter of intent, which is the national letter of intent is if you remember, that's like the 1-year contract that if you would have signed that document, you would have had to stay at your school for 1 full year.
Right,
But I don't know if you remember all this, but I was talking to compliance about this, that
Yeah.
hey, it was really good thing that it was just the scholarship papers, because we were so short on time to get you there for January that you needed the documents to show that you're getting X amount of dollars in scholarship, and of course you sign those papers, but the actual national letter of intent, which most schools will issue that and you sign them. But in this case, it wasn't really needed because it was so quick, and you were coming there anyways. It wasn't like you were competing against other players so that to lock you in. You were locked in. That's what the NLI is for. But you didn't sign that, and luckily, because that made you possible for you to transfer.
Yeah, that was good.
After the first
That was
semester.
good.
Maybe you didn't remember that, but I remember that. Oh, good. That
I don't remember
didn't
it
happen.
that well, but I do remember asking for the release when I had to go into the coach's office and ask for it, and he basically just threw it in my face. I remember. Oh my God, I thought I was gonna pee my pants.
Well, good you got it.
Yeah.
And that is also a touchy subject with, here it was probably for the best that, because I don't know what was his side of the story, but you weren't performing at the level you were expected to perform. So it was like a snowball effect here, like, or the hen or the egg, what comes first, me performing or you letting me perform? But then Bridget Norwood at the University of Arkansas Little Rock.
Yes. So I remember talking to her on FaceTime, and she obviously she asked the question, "What's the problem, or what's the issue? Why do you want to change schools?" And I was just totally honest with her, and then she said she will come back to me because she was going to talk to the. Obviously, she would call the coach and ask, "Hey, so what's the deal with this girl? This is quite a normal thing to do."
You're interested. It's like a job interview. You call for a reference.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing.
And she's told me this after, and she told me that she asked, "Well, can I recruit Stina, or what's the deal with her?" And he only replied, "Oh, you don't want her, or you can't have her," or something like that.
Okay.
And she kind of knew of him before, and then she just thought to herself, like, "Okay, I'm getting her."
That's the best reference you could get, maybe.
Yeah.
She thought.
So I'm very, very happy that she did that to me. So I'm very, very glad.
So Stina, you obviously ended up in Little Rock, where former president, he will always be a president, but Bill Clinton.
He'll always be my president.
He'll always be my president, but Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
He's from Little Rock, and that's where you ended up.
Exactly. Yeah.
How was Little Rock compared to Texas?
Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
It was a very good change for me. So got along with the coach. She was really helpful, understanding, and the girls on the team. I mean, I had a good time there.
It was a very international team at the school.
It was. We were.
Did that help you?
I think so. We were only 6 girls on the team, and we were all Europeans. So we got along.
Not even an American I guess on the men's side there were American.
There were, yeah. But on the girls' team, we were all international, so we all got along really well.
Because I remember speaking with Bridget in the recruiting process, and it was important because this was you only have one chance to do a transfer, right? You can't just transfer again. So it's important that it's the right fit, and really digging deep in on how how she works with the golfers and what was the plan to help you. And she always struck me as like, wow, she's the most calm you must be easy to play for a coach that, I mean, she of course she demands things of you, but she wouldn't hurry you up or anything. She was more, we'll let it play out and I'll help her with things. But how was it to actually be coached by her?
It was good. She's not a golfer herself. I mean, she does play, but like the ladies at the club play, you know. But her husband used to be the coach, and he was a very good golfer himself. And he's probably calmer than Bridget as well.
Okay.
So they kind of together helped me. He helped me with some technical, some golf stuff, and she was supportive. And I think all the girls on the team really, the first year was having like a little development year. So we were kind of all together in it. We were a very hard-working team, and so I think we were kind of more girls in it together. Whereas at Lamar, I was the only freshman. Felt like I was kind of by myself in the whole mix.
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't, but I was blind to everybody else's.
There was no team chemistry. I mean, there wasn't. They talk about it being like a family type of thing. Was that more what you felt like when you came there?
Yeah, of course. I thought it was more a team spirit at Little Rock, definitely.
So it was good that you came in an environment where you you wanted to work hard. You were motivated, and you started seeing results as a result of the work you put in. And from my point of view, it was more like Bridget was your mental coach. That she was helping you with getting the best out of you in tournaments. Because that is must be the role of the coaches, but they have very different styles as you talk about here.
It's very true. I mean, she's still American and has her ways of coaching and everything, but she was always so understanding and kind of lost my train of thoughts there, but
It sounds to me like there was a little bit more like a man management type of feeling at Little Rock than it was in Texas.
She was kind of like our mother, you know? So she cared a lot about us. We were her babies.
Yeah, 6 European babies.
Yeah,
that's nice.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But I mean, she always wanted results and put up drills, practice, and we worked really hard, but we knew she cared a lot about us.
Yeah, because it's still high-end NCAA Division 1 golf, so results are important.
It is for every
most
coach.
schools, but it's
kind of her job, you know.
Exactly. How is you came there in the fall? Talk us through how a fall semester is as a golfer in general. How many tournaments and how are your days throughout the fall semester?
We normally had about 4 or 5 tournaments in the fall, and it started after maybe 3 weeks to a month after we got to Little Rock. Very humid in Little Rock at that time, so it was quite challenging to adjust in that period of time. I remember at practice we were normally giving out golf carts because it was just too warm to walk, but then you got to the first tournament and you had to, and I remember it was a difficult transition, the whole thing. And then about 4 tournaments, and we had our home tournament was normally the last tournament of the season in the fall.
So that's in end of October, early November-ish?
Yeah. I think so.
Did you get to... which places did you get to travel to at the tournament? So obviously the home tournament, which you hosted, but the other tournaments, did you travel far?
If we could drive, we did. I mean, we had a conference in Destin, Florida once, I remember. we drove there.
Okay, that is very
So-
American. If you can drive it, we'll do that. I mean, that's Arkansas.
Probably 10 hours.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Arkansas is quite far away from Florida. I mean, where
It
is
is.
Arkansas if you look at the map?
If you know where Oklahoma is,
So
the-
quite in the middle.
on the border to Oklahoma, and then you have Louisiana in the south,
Yeah.
and Mississippi. in
Because
the east.
Louisiana have to the Mexico Gulf and everything. So Arkansas is just like
It's in the middle. Little Rock is in the middle of Arkansas.
yeah. So you have to drive quite far to get to bigger places.
Yeah, oh, for sure. So we did drive a lot. Coach drove the minivan, and we slept in the back.
Yeah, as we
But-
all have done as student athletes, I think
Yeah.
that's a lot of on the away games for us soccer players, or
Yeah.
obviously the away tournaments that you played. You know,
Yeah.
you spend a good. I did my homework as well as sleeping, and
I played countless hours of Football Manager, so yeah, but that's the one thing you really get used to though, like the traveling part. I remember,
Oh
yeah,
I
like when you're
know.
back in Norway now and have to drive 4 hours up to go to the mountains. It's literally nothing. But used to
That's very
having
true.
8-9 hours to away games with Football Manager, and you did homework and you slept. So yeah,
True. We also went to Vail, Colorado. We did not drive there.
nice. You got
Luckily.
to fly.
Yeah,
Nice.
we flew there, and we went to Phoenix every year in Arizona. So we did travel quite a bit, but mostly to see the golf courses.
Yeah.
To be honest,
It's to get the business done, like we always say.
Yeah.
You get to experience and travel around, and it's nice to see new places, but you don't really get to maybe experience those places other than when you
Not always.
when you go on spring break or maybe Thanksgiving and those holidays that you typically have. But then the main season, it's not in the fall. I mean, that's not your championship season. The championship season is in the spring semester. How does that differ from how the fall is for you then?
well, actually, I mean, every tournament counts, and then it's just the last tournament is the conference championship. So the ranking goes through the whole season. It's not divided in each segment or semester, kind of. But it's just you just got a little break in the middle. That's what it felt like to me, and then you kind of started again, and they were kind of equally important. But obviously, some tournaments were bigger than others because the ranking system in the States is a bit confusing.
I think in
It's-
every sport. it
Yeah,
is confusing.
probably. I mean, you get points based on how what good teams are there at the tournament and who you beat, and I mean it's just endless.
There's a algorithm math there that is
I think
it's kind
so.
of hard. You just got to play and do well, and then hopefully
Yeah.
that's. But it makes sense that hey, if you beat one of
Top
the really
school,
good teams,
yeah.
you get a lot more points than beating a school that you, in theory, that is lower on the ranking than you should beat. And you probably get punished more for not beating a team that you should beat. So it's a very interesting.
Yes.
They try and quantify it, right?
and then you have rival schools. This is important.
Exactly, and that not just for ranking, but for like the bragging rights. But what was
That was more the coaches.
they needed
internal
to. Yeah, they
competitions,
needed
yeah.
to. But what was the rival school for you? Because we all had rival schools. What was your main one?
It was Central Arkansas. It's only 20 minutes away. I mean, Little Rock is not a big city, but I can't even remember the name of the city or town, but it's really small. But they were pretty good golfers, so we were always having a little bit of a competition going on there.
To be the best
Yeah.
team in town. Yeah, it's good. Those are the really
but
good
for
rival
us, it
ones.
was more good fun. I mean, we didn't know the girls that well, but
Yeah,
we
it was
knew
more-
the
more a
coach
school
had a lot
thing.
of passion about this.
Exactly, but it's a school thing. You want to.
yeah.
We're the team in Arkansas,
Yeah.
we're the team in Little Rock. But you had a lot of success as a golfer, and you progressed really well from when you got there till until you finished. Well, talk us through that, because it was a transformation, I would say, on just becoming a really, really good golfer that seemed to control your game mentally. I mean, the results just showed it. Did you feel that too?
So I feel like
It's hard to go through the whole, because it's been such a
It's a long- yeah,
time ago.
it's
so
a
maybe it's
long
harder
time
to
ago.
remember in the early days of Little Rock.
yes,
But you did. I mean, talk us through some of your great tournaments, because there were
Yeah.
several.
Yeah, so like I said, the first year was kind of a build-up year, I would say. And then I started to develop my game more and more, and I mean, I got help both technically and mentally, and support from the coach, and just slowly starting to get my confidence back. And I started to play better and better, and started to be number one on the team. And then, boom, I won a tournament.
That's a milestone.
Yeah.
That is like a dream for most golfers, to win significant golf tournaments.
Yeah.
But
It was amazing.
You'd won before back in Norway as a junior.
I
on the
had.
junior tour here, but it's a different ball game to come there and win Division 1 golf tournaments.
Yes, very different. So that was a huge accomplishment for me, and a confidence boost, really.
But what comes first, the confidence or the results?
Well, I guess, I mean, I got some confidence back, obviously, and then I started to play a little bit better. But then once I saw the results, then I realized, okay, I can keep doing this. And that's when my thoughts about my professional career started to come up again.
Yeah, it's nice. And but it must be, when you have teammates that win tournaments like you did, you must have inspired, because the whole team got better as a result of the hard work you put in. You had a development year, but you're kind of the 6 Europeans trying to conquer American golf together, and the team ended up doing quite well.
Yeah, we did. So my last year was our best ranking. So we all kind of stepped up our game, and we got some new. Obviously, you get new players every year on the team, and so she could recruit better and better players. The better we got, really.
Yeah, the higher you are on the ranking
Yeah.
system, the better players.
So we were on a
you
very
attract.
very positive trend.
It's nice. And you ended up with the conference that you played in was called the Sun Belt, and you ended up being the golfer of the year in that conference. Again, these awards that we're not
Yeah.
used to maybe in other places than the US, they're really good at giving awards. And
They are. But yeah, I did. And my second year, I also won the conference championship.
and that is
Which is, yeah.
you've been in those positions, Truls. I've also gotten to nationals, and but I was, from my career, again, this is soccer, but still, the to get to championship games, and I remember losing in some semifinals, and it is a little bit different because you have to obviously win many matches, and if you lose one, you're out. But like in golf, you could. It's a little bit different, but that feeling of being close to a title, that is an unbeatable feeling, I think, in the college world. That's what most student athletes really
strive to be.
achieve.
Yeah, there's no doubt. To me, especially, that's the one thing that I miss the most about being at college, because I don't think you can get that feeling anywhere else, especially for like a soccer player that can't really make it professional. Where you have it there, it is just something, that gives you extra motivation every single day to go out there and do what you do best.
Yeah, definitely.
But now that you play professional on the tour, I mean, how did that college, those years at college, set you up for that? What are the main things that of course, you got better in golf, but there's also something about you as a person being ready to go on a tour that can also be very challenging. You have to kind of start again from scratch to show that, and you really need to have results now. Otherwise, you don't get any.
No,
It doesn't pay
very
the bills,
true,
right?
yeah. So, well, obviously, I started to think about my professional career at the maybe towards the last year of college, and then I tried to do some research about, well, how do I get into tournaments? I mean, I have no idea. How much money is it in every tournament, and how do you get up in the system? And okay, there is a qualifying school, and I just had to learn a lot of these things by myself, and I just I don't know, I just took it one step at a time, really. And Q school, I entered Q school every year qualifying, and by my results from Q school got me into some of the lower league tournaments and events. And once I played a few of those, then I could kind of establish a category there. And then next time I played Q school, I got a little bit higher every year.
Yeah.
You know,
Building blocks.
it was, yeah.
But you have to, in the end, do
Pretty
well in the
much.
tournaments you play in.
You do, and I mean, golf is it's up and down. So I mean, you miss cuts, you make cuts. I mean, you can see it in professional golf. I mean, Victor is a little bit different than everybody else.
He's on
but
fire at the
yeah,
moment.
he is. But yeah, I thought. Okay, so I wanted to play professional golf because now I felt like I was heading somewhere with my game, and I mean I still had a long way to go, and I was very prepared that it was going to be a tough transition. Okay, so tougher courses, better players. Okay, maybe lonely because everyone's kind of competing about money. It's different. It's not just for fun anymore. That's what I kind of thought to myself, but. It's everyone's so social. Everyone's out there by themselves doing the exact same thing, and I made so many friends, and we have a lot of fun, and it's been obviously I probably wouldn't have made it without all of that. I think the social aspect of it as well.
Yeah, because you travel to the same tournaments, you get to know each other, but you're not on the team like the 6 Europeans trying to conquer American golf. You're maybe some other Europeans trying to conquer the world golf, but you're competitors. But you can still they become some of your best friends, I imagine.
So now you kind of pick your team, you know. So it's almost even better.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not playing as a team, but. Yeah, we're a group of girls that always travel together, and we become great friends, and we're from all over.
Yeah. How do you set your whole schedule for what's your current rating? Which tournaments do you have access to now?
So, in January last year, I played Q School, and I qualified for a subcategory on the European Tour, Ladies European Tour, which has been my goal forever, you know. So now I get to play most of the LET, which is the Ladies European Tour events. And then it's kind of a little bit, sometimes it can be a little bit stressful because I just want to play as many events as I can to get better ranking, you know. So maybe I'll know a week before that I'm in, and then I just have to travel.
Fly to South Africa and play this tournament next weekend.
So the goal for this year is to establish a better category, so I know I can plan ahead a little bit more. Because it has been a little bit stressful. Just play whatever you can. Because come on, you have to. If you're gonna make it, you just have to.
Yeah, it must be. Is that stressful? You must be like chasing a lot. Is that the feeling of like always chasing to? Or can you come to a tournament and not think about, hey, it's really important I actually do really, really well this week?
Well, I feel like this year is a little bit different because I have a better idea of how many events I will get into, because my category is so much better, and then I can plan on, you put out just a few tournaments a year where, okay, this is the one where I'm gonna really perform, and then the other tournaments are just leading up to that, so you can kind of work on your game and test some strategies and do whatever. So now the system works better for me. But if you just have to travel to every tournament you get into, you don't really, okay, am I gonna try to perform, or am I gonna work on my game, or am I gonna test this driver, or am I gonna,
It's interesting that you kind of use it's like for swimmers, they have some most important tournaments. They'll try and get really in the best shape of their life for those, but the other ones, they're using those as a tool to get to that stage. I didn't realize it was the same maybe mentality for golf, but I mean it's
course, yeah, it is.
It's hard to, I mean, if you look at Victor Hovland as a bizarre example of just playing his best golf, it seems every tournament. But from the sidelines, and I mean, I play golf, but not obviously hobby golf. But it's you just think that, hey, every week I'm going to go out and win this tournament. That's the mindset of every golfer. I mean, in theory, yes, but it's also not realistic to do that.
No, I mean, you always want to do the best that you can, but it just depends on, okay, am I going to work on this process because it's going to help me in the future, or just to get ready. And whenever you get to that important tournament, then you can just play as freely as possible and just focus on where, okay, I'm going to hit it over there, and just, that's it.
But then when you win, your Sunbelt Conference Championship and you win those D1 tournaments that you've done, how is that compared to some of the best results that you've had as a professional golfer? How would you put those if you compare?
If I compare, okay, so the level it's much higher in the professional world, obviously. So, I mean, I played the European Tour in Saudi Arabia now last fall, and I got 18th place, and I value that much higher than the win at the Sunbelt Conference.
Yeah.
I do, yeah.
Yeah.
It feels a lot bigger, maybe because I'm in it right now, but
yeah, but of course it's the higher level golfer. But
Yeah,
obviously it's 18th it's a good result, but it's not like holding a trophy.
I
And
know it's probably difficult for other people to understand, but and I also, my best result last year was a second place at the I got a lower let access, which is the access tour to the Ladies European Tour, the level below, and I got second place there. I was in a playoff for first, and that's my greatest accomplishment ever, but it's still not on the main tour, so it doesn't really matter. It's just I guess it's just the scores you produce and the effort you put in, and how you get over the challenges along the way, and how you carry yourself. I don't know. It's a lot of things, not just.
So when you finished 18th in the European Tour, you felt that was probably maybe the best tournament you've ever played, where things just. I mean, you could have won it, but that is a big ask to win that tournament. But to that point, that was your best. You played your best. Is that how it was?
Well, I did play very, very, very good. But I think I played my best at the other event I just talked about.
That you got second. Yeah.
But they're very close related, So, that's what makes it interesting, and probably difficult to follow online as well, and you don't really know what's going on. And
yeah, because you have to market yourself now. I mean, it's not the university's communication department putting out loads of articles and pictures and videos. So you have to. That is also part of the aspect of being a professional golfer.
Of course, and
the image and the fundraising. Maybe you learned a little bit from fundraising in the US. They're experts at that.
Yeah.
Did you your US experience help you with putting yourself out there?
Well, it's okay. So I cannot. I don't make enough money playing golf now to make a living. So I have to rely on the sponsors, and to get sponsors, you kind of have to,
Perform.
sell yourself in, kind of, and say good things about yourself. And I think I learned a little bit from that from the States, because that's always been a little bit difficult to.
I think for most Norwegians or Danes,
Scandinavians in general, I think
Swedes, everyone in Europe for that matter.
I think that's a lot tougher. When you get to the US, you have to market yourself, and especially that's what I learned the most from my business school in the US. Just market yourself, Truls. Just go out there and.
So you have a business marketing degree in
In,
Truls.
in Truls, that's what I did. So I have a full bachelor's degree in myself, which is good to have now.
We haven't spoken anything about your academics. You
No.
went to school, you went to university, and you got a degree, a really good degree, top accredited business. What did you majored in business or something related?
I majored in economics and finance, so I did a double major.
Double
actually.
major. Why 2 degrees?
Okay, so I started in the spring, like we talked about earlier, and then I was supposed to be finished in the spring again, but my fall semester, I wouldn't be able to play golf because I kind of used the year of eligibility for golf for that first semester at Lamar. And then I thought, okay, so I had to go that last semester to be able to finish school, but then getting home in Norway in December, it doesn't make any sense for golf, really. So
There's
I
not
thought,
much golf
so I asked
other than indoor.
yeah, I asked the coach, okay, can I stay another semester and I'll come to a few tournaments, help the girls. I can practice. I can maybe play some events if there's any locally myself, and then I can do double major. And she said yes, and I got to be there every practice and play with the girls. And I traveled to a few tournaments, and then I did a double major in business. Yeah.
Nice. And how we talked about the you marketing yourself and that's kind of things you learn in the business world in the US. But did those things in your degree help you with that, or was this more not maybe so much on the marketing end? What would you have used your degree in if you didn't, try and make it professionally? What would you have been doing with your degree?
It's a great question. I still don't know.
And you probably don't have to know yet either.
I've just heard from everybody, it's always good to have some kind of business. If you want to do anything in the future, you can always add to it.
Yep.
Do anything else. And business was really the one major that would fit good with the golf schedule. And the business school at Little Rock was quite good. So it was an easy decision after that. I mean, I entered college as just a general major because I didn't know what I wanted to study.
Yeah, and that it's hard for people to at that age. And I remember it's you don't know what it means to study that, and that's
No.
good about the system. You can try out different things and then decide on what you want to major in. At the end of your second year, when you're 50% completed with your credits you have to do to get your degree, you have to have made up your mind. And most people make up their mind way before that. But within the first year, you figure it out.
Yeah, and I mean, I quite liked the business, and so it was fun. I've only had like math and physics and all that before, and I knew I didn't want to continue doing that, so I had to just try something else, and I quite enjoyed it. But I love sports too much that I don't think I'm going to be able to be in an office all day and in front of a computer and everything. So actually now I'm doing sports psychology bachelor. So I'm starting over a little bit.
You're managing to you had to fill up the knowledge bank with some more stuff.
I just felt like I've been missing something to do on the side because it's so much golf. And then COVID came and I had nothing, it felt like. Because it was so unpredictable. So I just signed up for NIH. I don't even know the English.
The sport. What is the name in English? The sports university here, the only one pretty much in Norway.
Yeah.
So I signed up there and I started this fall, and it's been good to have something now during COVID at least.
So now you're getting into. We talked about golf being a mental game. Now you're learning from the inside what those processes too.
Yeah, I think I've developed a big interest in this field just from my own experiences and everything I've been through. So it's very interesting.
Nice. So, your advice, Stina, to others that are thinking about playing college golf, your recruiting process. I think it's been good to hear about that, so that people can hear about, that it's important to try and find the right fit, but that it's also not always that easy to do that. But what's your best advice to the young hopefuls thinking about this?
Take your time, think through what you want, go visit the school, and if you know what you want to study, then great. If not, then you have a little bit of time after you get there, try out a few classes, a few things, and then make your decision from there.
And I would like to add maybe starting early in the process, because we had to rush your process to get things done quickly. It ended up that your college career has been fantastic, but with some road bumps. But maybe, having the more time you have in this process, I think the more you can spread all the tasks out, and also the more coaches are recruiting, the more options you can have. It's always been a battle of getting international students to understand they actually start to recruit quite early.
Definitely. And start early. And I mean, I really recommend getting help from CS USA, and because if you have any problems like I did, they'll jump on it and help you change schools. Or it was very good to have you guys in that process.
It was good. Really, I mean, we helped you to Lamar and it wasn't a good fit, but then it's nice to be able to help you to another place that was a good fit. I mean, the goal is always, of course, the right fit on the first attempt, but sometimes that is difficult, and for reasons that you kind of have to get there and find out. So it's not an exact science, but there's a lot of things to a recruiting process. But the more time, when we talk about sitting on the other side of the table and actually being the one doing the marketing of athletes to the coaches, that is the one pitfall, to run out of time, or they're filled up with their recruiting and they're looking for the next year, not the year you're going. So I think that is a big point. But what about when you're in college, when you're a student athlete? The best advice you can give to students when you're actually there doing it?
Take some time and actually enjoy it while you're doing it, because it's 4 best years of my life. It was so much fun. Yep.
I think that's a great way to end it.
I think so. Thank you so much, Stina.
Thank you for having me.
Good luck with everything you're doing. I mean, your new bachelor's in sports psychology. Hopefully
thanks.
help you even further your mental game, but then also to continue making progress on the European tour. We're excited and we're rooting for you to do well.
Thank you so much.